Hi fans of high quality entertainment. I'm going to be talking about radio, so I need a drink. Now, I've never been a fan of radio because if I want to hear music, I want to make my own choice. Although I do realize there are some good stations out in the world, I've never really heard many of them. And where I work, I love my job, but they play radio all the time. And for instance, every Wednesday is Country Day, New Country Day. And the other 4 days I work, they might have 1 day or 2 days of rock, a local rock station. And the other 2 days, sometimes 3 days, and actually this week it was 4 days of pop music. And the pop station is, they mix, what is it, 80s, 90s, and today's hits. And so I thought between the two stations, the rock station and the pop station, I wanted to list some of the locally played songs that are played way too much. And I would love your thoughts in the comment section below. From where you live, what songs do they overplay in your area? And I know there's like Stairway to Heaven, Hotel California by the Eagles, but I'm just curious about other more locally kind of based songs, if you know what I mean. That might not be played everywhere. And I've made a top 10 of songs that they play way too much. And some of the songs that didn't make my list, but they still play way, way, way too much, include The Proclaimers, 5,000 Miles. I've heard that hundreds of times. The Electric Light Orchestra, Don't Bring Me Down. Not as much, but still, when they play, this is the other thing that kind of gets me though, is some of these bands, they have a ton of hits, but some of these radio stations just play the same 1 or 2 of their hits and forget all about the other ones. And plus, there are so many artists, great artists in the world, and lots of hit singles through the years, but it's almost like they have like maybe a couple of 80s CDs and they just play the songs from that. Sometimes that's the way I feel. And other ones, Journey, Don't Stop Believing, and maybe 1 or 2 more. The Steve Miller Band, The Joker. The Eagles, of course, as I mentioned, Hotel California. But they've had, they've had a lot of hits, but it's mainly Hotel California you always hear. Van Halen, Jump. Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. You rarely hear anything else by them, like, for instance, Money. And U2, With or Without You, and Where the Streets Have No Name, even though they've had a lot of hit singles. But this is my top 10 for overplayed songs in the Quinte West area, Trenton Belt. I need another glass of wine. I also just wanted to quickly mention that some of the artists that I rarely hear on these radio stations, and they're very popular and they had lots of hits, or some of them had lots of hits, include Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Doors, Fleetwood Mac, The Guess Who, Nazareth, The Who, Radiohead, R.E.M., Deep Purple, Foghat with their huge, well, maybe not a huge hit, but it was a very good-sized hit, Slow Ride, and Grand Funk, and The Kinks. Here's my top 10. Need another sip of wine. I'm on my weekend off. Number 10, Queen. Now, Queen has had, I don't know, dozens of hits, I would think. But they only seem to play 4 of them. The one they play the most is Under Pressure, which I am so tired of. And then We Will Rock You with We Are the Champions. Of course, Bohemian Rhapsody. Another one, Bites the Dust. You know, they have other huge hits like Crazy Little Thing Called Love. I don't hear that very often. Killer Queen, Once in a Blue Moon, but not very often. And Radio Gaga. I love that song, but I never hear it on the radio. Maybe once in the 2 years I've been at work. Number 9, Bon Jovi. Living on a Prayer and You Give Love a Bad Name are the only 2 I hear a lot. And they might play 1 or 2 of their other hits, but it's mainly those 2 songs. Number 8, speaking of the Guess Who, I do not like this version of American Woman by Lenny Kravitz. I don't know if I ever did a top 10 worst cover songs, I think Lenny Kravitz' American Woman would be number 1. But even he's had more than that hit, and that's basically the only song of his that you hear. Are You Gonna Go My Way, for instance? I like that song a lot, but you don't really hear it that much. Now, this is more based in Canada, of course, although they've had hits in the States too. But April Wine, they've had a lot of hits here in Canada, but the only ones you really hear are Sign of the Gypsy Queen and Roller. Those are the main 2. Now this one really irks me. The Rolling Stones. I think they've had more than 1 or 2 hit singles. And what's weird is, this one isn't, I don't believe, is one of their big hits. I mean, it's a very popular song, but they have so many other songs that are way more popular than this one. And they've played it a lot in the last year or so. It is Sympathy for the Devil. And it's gotten to the point where I don't like the song anymore. Damn you, radio. Like Frank Zappa once said, kill ugly radio. This one also gets me. Now, Rush is, of course, Canadian, so the radio stations, I guess, decide, well, we'll play some Rush. They have played this song and hardly anything else by Rush from their very first album, and it's not even Working Man, which I wouldn't mind. It is In the Mood, which I find kind of weird. I mean, I don't mind listening to it once or twice on the radio, but I mean, it's basically all they focus on for Rush. Now, I like this artist a lot. I totally respect him. And he's had a lot of hit singles. But basically, the only 3 that the radio station plays by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers are Last Dance with Mary Jane, Running Down a Dream, which I like both songs, but it's just, you know, they play them so much you kind of get tired of hearing them. And a lot for this song. I'm totally sick of it, and it's a great song, but I don't want to hear it anymore. It is Free Falling. And I have here in a quote, Bob Seger with a question mark. He's, you know, similar to Tom Petty. He had quite a few hits in his day. And yeah, you rarely hear him on these 2 radio stations, but you hear a lot of Tom Petty. Number 3 has never been one of my favorite bands, but I understand they're super popular and a lot of people love them, but It's mainly these two songs they play by them. Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, which I don't mind, but like I said, they play it so much I'm starting to get very tired of it. And this one, every time I hear that opening guitar, I get a headache. I have heard it, they've played it so many times. Sweet Child O' Mine. It's gotten to the point where that guitar at the start is just very, very annoying. I hate it. Another Canadian artist, and this guy gets played a lot on at least these two Canadian stations. And he's good, he's very talented, but very tired of listening to, well, the one song I still am not sick of. I like it a lot, but I'm starting to get tired of it. It is Tom Cochrane. The Boy Inside the Man, that's a great song, but like I said, I'm starting to get tired of it. No Regrets. Now, if you're Canadian, I don't even think that was a big, maybe I'm wrong. I didn't think that was a big hit single, but they play that a lot. And I don't mind it, but like, once again, I'm getting tired of it. But the one I'm definitely tired of, and maybe some of the other Canadians are, and this was a hit in America too. Life is a Highway. Great song, I admit, but totally sick of it. And what's funny is on Country Day, there's a country version of Life is a Highway, which is sometimes played. I sometimes wonder, does Tom Cochrane own Canadian radio? But like I said, I totally respect him as an artist. He's very talented, great songwriter, love his vocals, but totally sick of his hit singles. And number one. Once again, this band had quite a few hit singles, but they seemed to focus on just two of them for the main part, and especially one of them. It is Heart. Magic Man, which I'm totally sick of, and I used to love the song. And this song, which I used to also love, and now I am totally fed up with it. Barracuda. I hear it. Probably they play it at least twice a week. I hear it on the radio. And it's not always on that radio station. I think it's on the rock station that they play it. And it's so that's it. I would just love your thoughts on radio and what songs you're tired of hearing on the radio that you might have even liked at some point. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.